it does? Okay.
Mine says you're in the show. Everyone can see and hear you.
Interesting.
Oh, hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone. On YouTube right now. Oh, there it is. Okay, it's just popped up for me too.
Oh, hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone. Oh, I got to mute.
Oh, I got an echo.
Okay, so we're live. Hello, everyone. If there's anyone here, I think we might be it as of this moment. But if you're watching back in playback, we're waiting for Amy had to take an unexpected but very important phone call, so she'll be in as soon as she possibly can. And then Julie is amongst the missing, and we're hoping everything is okay. So we're sending good vibes to Julie, but I've tried to reach her a couple times. So she may be in transit, en route. I'm going to keep looking at my phone to see if she pops into my WhatsApp.
I'm going to look now. See.
But yeah, we're going by the seat of our pants, Robin and I, today.
Yes, we are.
We can do this. We can do this. We're talking astrological eras today, right?
I don't see her anywhere. Let me message her too.
And I don't know. I don't know. I'm just going to do a little refresher-oo. Robin, are you able to see and hear the audio on your side fine?
Yes, I see you and myself.
I don't think so. Hi, Holly. Good to see you. Sorry, we're having a little technical stuff going on this morning at the start, but that's okay. We're amongst good company here, and I'm used to talking by myself to the front of the camera, or I've certainly done it enough. But Robin is here with me. I don't know if Robin can hear. Robin, can you hear?
I can hear you. I can hear you, Patrick. I can't see who's in the room or anything like that.
Robin is here with me. I don't know if Robin. There you are, Robin. I don't know why your audio cut out on me.
Is it echoing? Do I need my headset?
It was just a minute ago, but it just stopped. So, okay. So I wasn't getting any of your audio, but I am now.
Okay.
Is sound okay on your end?
Yes, I can hear you. Yeah. It looks like she wasn't active for a couple hours. I don't know. I just sent her a message, Julie.
Yeah. And I called Julie and I've messaged Julie, but I haven't seen anything yet. So I'm hoping she's okay. We can definitely reschedule this if we need to, and we should. If we can't, obviously, we should make sure that Julie's here for this, because Julie is, if you don't know, Julie information. She is. I think she is the astrological era.
She definitely is. It's all in there.
Hi, so. Hypnicity. Welcome. Linwood, Washington. Hello.
Hi, everyone. I can't see who's here.
On the right-hand side of your screen, do you see where it says like private chat or comments? Or
yeah.
No?
Okay. Do I have to
go to flip over to comments?
Oh, I see now. Okay.
Yeah. And you can also hit that join the chat, so you can type back if you want to.
Oh, nice.
Be able to
Hi, Holly. I never knew.
Hey, Holly, it's good to see you. It's been forever, Holly. It's been forever.
Is it going to connect me to chat?
Yeah, you might have to hit connect in a couple things, and then you should be able to type in the chat.
Oh no, it's going to make me sign in. That's a whole nother thing. Maybe I won't do
that. Okay, Holly, just for the sake of playback in the chat, let's have everybody sound off in the chat below. Like, where are you watching from? So Hypnicity, is that Linwood, Washington? I think Washington State, I'm assuming. And if I remember right, Holly, I think you might be in Texas.
Hi, right? Hypnicity.
Oh, I just got a text message. Let's see if it's Julie. Nope, it's not Julie.
I got one too. We got one at the same time.
We're in the ether together here.
Yeah. That's crazy. And it wasn't her. We might have to reschedule this.
Yeah, I mean, it might be a sign. We're right here before the full moon. Tomorrow is a full moon in Virgo.
Yes, yep.
And Mars is rolling into Pisces. So with the full moon into Virgo, do you have any kind of personal practice stuff that you're going to be doing tomorrow, Robin?
Well, I do some rituals of my own, but I have readings that I need to do.
Oh yeah, so you got work to do.
Yeah, I'll work.
always work to do. Oh yeah, Holly's in Ontario. That's right. Ontario, Canada.
I'm in Pennsylvania.
Yep, and Maine here. So we're all over the globe. It's been a minute since we've all gotten together, but we have been, it's been nice to sort of, Amy pulled Robin and Julie and I in, and we're basically a
team. We're
a team.
Cosmic team.
A cosmic elemental team. We have all the elements represented. Yep. Robin, what's your real sky astrological element?
I am a Scorpio sun. My rising is Aquarius, or my rising is Sagittarius and Aquarius moon. So me and you and I both are moons, right? Aquarius moons.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So you're water, and I am a Aries sun, and then Aquarius rising and Aquarius moon. So
okay,
yeah, got the fire. Bring it in the fire, as Julie.
Fire in there.
Julie teases me. I'm always like, we've got to burn it all down. If it's not real sky, let's burn it down.
Yep. And I'll put it out.
Here's Amy. I think she's might be getting ready to jump in. Let's check it. There she is. Hi, Amy. You made it. Julie's not here. We might have to reschedule.
Yeah, we thought maybe we should reschedule.
Yeah, I looked at my email, and I hope she's okay.
Yeah.
I'm worried.
I have her number in an email.
I've called her. I called
her.
Oh,
you called her?
Yeah, I called twice, and I WhatsApped her, and nothing.
Okay.
So
let's hang out for about 30 minutes.
Yeah.
We'll make the most out of it, and if not, I guess all these changes that I've had to do, there's a reason for it.
Yeah. It's funny because Robin and I were just saying, like, with the eclipse season, it was like this choice of, do you swim with the current of the eclipse season, or do you swim against it? And this is timely, because this is kind of the same thing. It's like,
I wasn't really feeling anything like retrograde with Mercury. It was actually really good. But then everything's sort of culminating with some business and stuff on this side. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going back and forth. I want to do this. I'm committed, but let's change it to this day. And so now it's, it is what it is.
You're Virgo rising.
Oh yeah, we were shouting out our astrological. What are you want to shout yours out, Amy?
Oh, my rising.
Your sun, moon, and rising.
I won't
in the real sky, of course.
Yeah. No, I know. I won't do all of it. I'll say Taurus because it's on both sides.
Oh. Okay.
And I'll say moon and Cancer.
Oh, okay.
Sidereal.
So you're bringing in the earth, bringing in some earth energy for us.
Yes. And it was very interesting too, because before Sidereal came into the picture, my moon was in Leo. And so I was coming from double fire to now double water.
Wow.
And I was but it's interesting. I still feel that fiery energy. And I think it's too because the degree of where my Taurus is still very close to Aries. I'm in the first, if I'm thinking correctly, Patrick and Robin, I'm like within the first 5 degrees of Taurus sidereal.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know for you two, how do you feel if you're closer to your sun sign, sidereal? If you're closer to the cusp, do you feel some of that energy?
Yeah, I do.
You do.
Yeah. I think it's definitely, I keep going back to this past week, because we technically had the sun roll into Aries, right?
Yeah.
And it prompted some good conversation online that we need the boundary lines, right? We need IAU boundary lines, or we need Athens midpoint method boundary lines. Whatever boundary lines we want to choose to adopt, we need them, right? For consistency. Yeah. But if you actually then just go outside and still just look up, you do start to realize, like, we started Aries season technically based on the line, but we are like, technically the sun wasn't on that day in Aries and or in, Pisces.
Yes.
Sort of that
Yeah.
liminal blend
Yeah.
space.
How about you, Robin? What's your experience?
I don't know. Well, I'm the weird Ophiuchus person, so I have a little bit of that in there too.
Okay.
With the Scorpio, so I feel it all. Like I feel all the energy. Before I was the Sagittarius sun, but now it's my rising. So it kind of, I feel that same energy, but I was so close to Scorpio anyway, even though, like I said, I have a lot in Ophiuchus, like with Venus, and I believe Mars is in there too. So I have a lot going on over there.
Yeah.
Type of energy. I need to look at that more too.
But again, where we are in the degrees.
Mm-hmm.
So if we were in the midpoint, like for you, Patrick, you're a good example because you're right. I'm not going to state your birthday personal, but you're in that early part of May.
Yeah.
So how do you feel? Do you
So
feel
you mean when I'm in November, close to my birthday? Are you asking that?
Oh, I was asking
him.
Patrick. Yes.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Pat. Go ahead, Patrick.
No, for you as well, Rob. So how do you feel that first week? So that will make you Taurus.
Yeah, I mean, I went from being Pisces rising, Pisces moon, Taurus sun, to Aries sun, Aquarius rising, Aquarius moon. So I'm kind of like you. I went from, but I went from water to air, and then I went from earth to fire. I definitely, like you, I still very much relate to the Taurus piece that I always held so affectionately. But what I realize now is that for me, Venus in real sky, Venus is in Taurus. So the way that I love, my heart, my value set, that's all very much still how I always knew it to be, which is grounded. And if we're friends for life. And, I'm a curator. Like I don't bring anything into my world that I don't absolutely love and find beauty in. So, but what now makes so much sense is I never related to that sort of slow, steady, hard to move kind of energy that comes with Taurus. And I never felt a sense of stability innately within, or I never felt that sense of stability innately within myself. I always have felt very all over.
Yeah.
And that's the fire, the Aries. It just makes so much sense for me to be an Aries. Because I like engaging with people. I mobilize quickly.
Yeah.
It's about initiation for me. It's not necessarily the long run. It's the sprint. It's the get there quick and get, like, even within my astrological journey to real sky, it's been that way for me. Like as soon as I realized I didn't have to spend a ton of time reconciling or overthinking, I just was like, I just want to do what I always thought I was doing, which was referencing the real sky. So even though I had all of this birth chart reconciliation and stuff that I had to do, like there was no hesitation. I just pivoted because it's what I always thought I was doing. So I kind of relate still to both, but for me now, I feel more the sun is more, the sun in Aries makes a lot more sense. Like for I feel more self-aware, self-empowered, now that I have that.
Yeah, very good.
I always think of you now, Amy, now that we've talked so much with Taurus energy. I always think of you now because you speak about that a lot, and it's just, you're in my mind.
Yeah,
I don't know a lot of Taurus suns, but
I think the Taurus aspect, the personality that comes out the most for me for Taurus is value, things that are of importance.
Yeah.
Things that we invest in. Those are the words I always use over and over again when it comes to Taurus or earth signs. And as we're getting closer to it, everything tends to slow down a little bit when we get into the Taurus season, which I appreciate because I'm definitely feeling the Arian, and I like it because it's movement, and I like movement. I don't like things to be too stable. And I think it's good to have Aries before Taurus because all this whirlwind of energy and whatnot.
And then you get grounded down a little
Correct.
bit. Right.
Just sort of like, okay, do all the work that you wanted to do during this Aryan time, movement, creativity, letting go, purging, bringing stuff in, and then just settling in with it. And that's what I appreciate. So, I'm already planning what I want to do next month for the birthday, and it's always something out in nature. I just need to be grounded. I just need to, be still, feel, listen the air, listen to the wind, smell what's out there, have my eyes adjust to something very simple.
Yeah.
Instead of people, instead of all this activity, everything just sort of starts slowing down, and I like that. So I embrace Aries, the spring season, because Patrick and I are spring babies. So we have this energy, right? But then when we get into our fall, winter seasons, I appreciate that because it's that time of just like looking in, reflecting. And then winter, spring, we start preparing for the spring season, the whole cycle.
Yeah.
It affects us all very differently, but I definitely connect with it.
It's replenishing.
Mm-hmm.
That's not Julie. I thought that was Julie. It's not. Somebody else. That's weird.
Who wants to take a stab on the astrological ages?
Oh, Patrick.
It's so exciting what Julie's doing with her deck, because it's such a big thing. The eras are, for me, where I'm at with them, is that, we talk a lot about like, when are we going to enter the Aquarian age? Where are we in the Piscean age? And where I've sort of landed with the eras is, we have the sun on the horizon line at the vernal equinox, or the equinox in March, however you want to call it. I don't like to say spring equinox because it's not spring for the whole planet. But that equinox that takes place in March, if you were to look at the horizon line on that day, you should see at dawn, right before sunrise, you should visibly be able to see a constellation on the horizon line. And that is the constellation that it's one of two options that can define the era. What is visible, it's debated, is what defines the era, because you would look on the horizon line, you would see that constellation right above the horizon line, and you would say, I can see that the sun is going to be rising into that constellation on that date. And that would define the era that we're currently in. So if we were to look at the constellation right now on the horizon line on the equinox, you can kind of see part of Pisces low, but what you actually see fully in the night sky is Aquarius. And so this is where Julie and I, and I'm sure you and Robin, you have talked a lot, and it offers another approach, because some people right now will say, technically speaking, the sun is rising still in Pisces, because when it rises up with Pisces. You can't technically see Pisces because the sun is shining it out, blinding it out at that point. But if we were to look at it that way, then we would still technically be right now in the era of Pisces. If you were to look at it at dawn and see what constellation can you actually see that the sun would appear to be rising into, then we would definitely be saying that we're in the era of Aquarius as of right now. And I know that's where Julie lands. It's less about like calculating that, okay, I can see Aquarius, but that would mean that the sun's actually under the horizon in Pisces. She's rooted everything she's doing right now in what's visible. I think there's a good argument to be had here on both, for both.
There's so many different schools with that. I've noticed there's so many people in so many directions on that. And with Julie too, with the Aquarius.
But you would just look at, you like what Julie's done is like, she looks at, and this is what she's sort of ingrained within me as well, as like, what are the themes playing out in humanity and globally to help us to figure out which might be where the bullseye might be there. And so are we experiencing in humanity more Aquarian themes, or are we experiencing Piscean themes? And there is really no debate right now that either or we're in the cusp era, just sort of like what we were talking about earlier. So the reality is I think we're
these things that are tail end that are leaving, and we are in Aquarius. Going on.
Yeah. And I think that's the safest bet, is if we all would just sort of like, we keep, as humans, I feel like so many people, we all want hard lines in the cosmos, and there's just no hard lines. So why can't we just say we are in that blend space? Because we technically are,
Right.
So
thanks, Patrick.
For you and Robin and Patrick, how do you feel when it comes to that cusp energy? Because I definitely feel that's where we are. We are in that transition, and when you speak to people, you can hear when they're talking about things that's up ahead. They're always looking ahead. It's like, I know there's change coming up. I just don't know what change it is. They're sensitive to something that's going to happen. And so I feel there is this crossover, like you were saying, that emotional, and that subconscious calling. It's like, I know something big's going to happen. It's still that remainder of that Piscean energy is what they're feeling, that's changing, what's happening, but they just don't know what it is yet. And I feel that's when we officially get into Aquarius, it's just my perspective, when we start seeing the change, that's where I feel we have entered the age of Aquarius, because it becomes more apparent and we start seeing it more in the news. It starts being reflection of that. I think just right now, everyone's just eyeing the election later on this year, because it is pivotal. It affects obviously us here in the States, but also globally. Whatever happens here or in any major financial, mega country, it does trickle down and affects everyone else, financially, politically.
I think it's a good place to be, being cuspy, because you can see what you're leaving behind and kind of
I like that.
Embrace what's ahead and feel a lot better about where we've come from and where we're going. I think it's excellent. I just feel like it's a really good space to be in.
I totally agree with that. That idea of being able to see where we've been. It's like such a healthy way and a productive way to look at it, for sure. Because we can also say, like, we don't have to throw the baby out with the bathwater, right? Like the Piscean age that we're leaving right now, you can see the fight. That's, nobody likes change, right? Most of us innately resist change. So like theoretically, those Piscean themes would be sort of maybe putting up the fight right now. And there is sort of this fight for, let's just do things the way we've always done them. Let's not adapt to the change because we can believe in something different. Pisces is very much a belief oriented, knowing, intuitive kind of space. But because we've been like, let's just use astrology for an example, we haven't been looking up for the duration of all of the Piscean age. We used to, as a humanity, look up and know what the constellations were. We referenced the actual planets and the stars. For all of the Piscean era, we've just believed. We've believed the books. We've believed the philosophies. We've believed the laws. We've believed. And so now, as we're sort of moving back to this, it's radical right now. It's very Aquarian to actually, how wild is it that actually referencing the constellations is the rebel move? But it's right now, it's the rebel move,
it is.
And the people who are struggling, they're not struggling because they're not intellectually in it and understand it. Everybody gets this, but they're struggling with this the belief, what it's meant to them, to hold value for the other, even though it's observably not even remotely close to what's actually happening. So many are struggling to let go.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's very Piscean age ending into Aquarius,
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Definitely.
With Amy, I think we might have lost you.
Amy? Wait, is she? She's frozen, isn't she?
She's frozen, yeah. Maybe reboot.
I'm here.
Oh,
there we go.
Oh. There she is.
It's weird. It's showing that I have full bars, and it's still. Anyhow, I think we're good now.
Okay.
But yes, it's very revealing. That's what I was starting to say for Aquarius.
Uh-oh, she's gone again.
Oh,
we lost you again.
This is definitely retrograde. Full moon.
We are in retrograde.
Yes. It's all here.
And Mars is going into Pisces tomorrow, so it's putting up a fight. Pisces is getting charged up.
Yep.
Okay. I'm here. I'm going to try.
There she is.
I'm going to try this. It's so strange. It shows that I have full signal here.
Yeah, you get all pixelated and freeze up.
Okay.
It's weird.
Staying.
Uh-oh.
We'll let you reboot and see what the comments look like. Looks like Holly says she's a Sag Sun, a Taurus Moon, and a Leo Rising. So let's see, fire, earth, fire. And then she said she also uses the IAU boundaries. And hello, Laura, good to see you.
I have to move it up.
Oh, and
I didn't know I could do that.
And Holly went from earth to fire, earth, fire. Yeah. So that's interesting. Yeah. So everybody, I mean, most of us are switching, earth switches in our chart when we switch to the real sky. Be curious for those in the comments, how did you feel when you actually switched? Do you feel that do you feel like you're looking more at your birth chart now and seeing yourself, or do you feel more disconnected in the real sky to yourself? Be interesting to see what everybody thinks.
Yeah, that's a good question, but give me a minute.
Yeah.
I just learned how to scroll down and see what they're saying. That's funny.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it doesn't on YouTube, it moves, but here it doesn't move on its own.
Oh, okay.
I'm worried about Julie.
I am too, Patrick. I've just started thinking that big time. Julie wouldn't miss this. Something.
I mean, she's so
she was so excited.
Yeah, yeah, and she was so excited. So
here's Peter. He's here.
Peter.
Peter's
there he is. Peter.
Hi,
yeah.
Peter.
3:30 Eastern Standard Time.
Hi, Peter.
Is she? But she's okay. Okay, good. Phew! Yay! Awesome. We were worried, so we were giving it a half hour, and then we were going to reschedule. So
I miss you, Peter.
With a minute to spare, Peter, you saved the day. Holly says that she definitely connects with the real sky chart. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you immediately connect, Robin, when you made the switch?
Immediately.
Yeah.
I kind of felt it.
Yeah.
I knew that. I felt that Scorpio. It was just there. And I wasn't sure. It almost felt like I was going through some type of transition phase of my life where it was like part of me, because I already thought that before all this even came about. Yeah. And then it made sense. I'm like, that's why. That's exactly why. Because the Sagittarius is still in there, like I said.
Yeah.
It's still my rising, but my sun was Scorpio.
Interesting to go from, because you thought it was a Sag sun.
Yeah.
Yeah. To go straight from Sag sun, though, and sort of your sun leapfrogged Ophiuchus and landed in that really sliver of time.
Yeah. Just like 7 days. Yeah.
Yeah. Such there. I mean, that's so cool. You're the only person I know that's actually a real sky Scorpio sun.
Yeah.
Because it's such a that's such a limited window.
It is.
Yeah. Can someone invite Julie? I'll send Julie the link. It was in the email. Let me see. Let me see. I'm going to send Julie a link. Copy. Link. Tell Julie that I'm sending it to her WhatsApp. All right. She should get the link in her WhatsApp right now. I'll email it to her as well.
Real sky all the way.
Absolutely. And link. Okay, I just emailed the link to Julie as well. Says she's backstage. Okay, so that would mean that that's probably Amy needs, and Amy's having technical issues. So Amy probably needs to let her into the chat or let her into the live, but Amy's struggling getting on.
So we can't let her in.
No, we can't. We actually don't see her. So tell her to hold tight. As soon as Amy gets back, I'm sure she will pull her in. I wish that we could.
I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, well, I don't think we have the right. Yeah, I don't see the rights here. Normally there's like a invite somebody to the chat if you're hosting. But we are not. We don't have.
There she is. Hi, Julie.
Hi, Julie. We were worried. We're glad you're here. We were giving it a half hour and then we were going to reschedule. So at 1 minute to go, Peter popped in.
Julie had no glitches today. And here you are.
I know Robin has been smooth. Audio's awesome. Video's awesome.
You missed it. Julie.
Yeah.
You'd have been so proud.
Oh my goodness. Although Amy is also experiencing some stuff right now. Technically, we do have Mercury in retrograde, and it's a full moon tomorrow. So
it's all Mercury retrograde.
Julie says, I can't believe I'm so off. She must have just, see what it's like to live in that alternate timeline.
Peter.
That's too funny.
Peter said, yay, Robin. I don't have all the crystal things around right now. That's why I'm doing good. Well, maybe a couple.
You're super sensitive to crystals.
Yeah, I have so many of them. And I was drinking crystal water last time.
Oh.
I'd like some now. It's behind me, actually. But Julie and I said, maybe that's what it was, like how I got sick, because it was just too much energy for me.
Yeah. Yep. Amplified it up too much.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I have lots.
I wonder where Amy is.
Oh, it is funny.
Amy,
here, though. She's watching.
Where are you? For Julie, we were just doing our little take on a brief take on the eras, but we were saying how for Robin and for myself, and there was just no hesitation to switch to real sky, no looking back, as you like to say, Julie. But we need your astrological era.
Yes, we do.
Here.
We're waiting for you, Julie.
Yeah.
I see she put Amy. She is Amy. No,
Amy, where are you? Where are you?
She had a glitch.
Yeah, she kept freezing and then she was rebooting and then she's just been gone. I wish that I could see. Yeah, I don't see you anywhere, Julie. Oh, there's Amy.
Oh my God, you guys.
Hey.
What happened?
What a mess.
Oh my God, but we're here. I'm a half hour late. I can't believe it. I thought it was 5. I'm working on pictures. I finished all my books. I'm like, I have so much time. I can finish these last 2 pictures and then Peter goes, why aren't you on? Everyone's on. I'm like, what? I'm like, wait, what time? How long have they been on? They've been on for half an hour. And that is not me.
No.
I'm punctual.
We were worried.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you guys.
Literally, I called your phone twice and we were messaging. God,
and I'm like completely oblivious.
I'm like, I hate to call her, but like I'm gonna call her and then
call me. Oh my God.
Yeah.
We missed you, Julie. I'm glad you're here and everything's okay.
Wow. Every time we gather, there must be some kind of right?
You can't blame Robin this
you're
time.
Next.
Patrick, yeah, you're next.
It's Robin, Julie, me. You're next.
Oh gosh.
Oh my God. But nobody's sick, so that's good.
Yeah, well, that's good. At least we
And
have
we're through eclipse season. We're through eclipse season.
Yes, we just have Mercury retrograde and a conjunction of Jupiter and Uranus.
And a full moon tomorrow, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and a full moon tomorrow.
We got
and Mars. Mars is rolling into Pisces tomorrow too. So
Peter comes in, he goes, "Are you on?" I'm like, "No, I still have 2 hours." She goes, "They're on now." I'm like, "What? Oh my God." Literally, that's exactly what happened.
It's okay.
So
I was making tea. I was getting ready. I was working on dinner.
Buddy.
Oh my God. Okay.
And I'm putting all the pressure on Patrick and Robin. So what do you think? The ages, huh?
Yeah.
What did I miss? I sent you all those files of the
timeline.
Timeline.
Yes, I did get them.
Yes.
Julie, I have not had a moment to like sit down and look. I went through, honestly, I went through 2 of the pages. From
I'm gonna follow
from the end of this week onward, things are going to lighten up a little bit for me. So I'll be able to be more focused on the ages. But I went to this page.
Okay. Well, that's probably not even accurate anymore.
Okay, let me just
see if I can upload my whole timeline.
Okay. I had a dream last night, Julie, that involved your timeline and ages, and I literally held back from messaging you, which I know you tell me not to.
No,
but I
you
was
should have.
I wanted to save it for this conversation.
Okay, I want to hear about your dream.
Well, it wasn't super detailed, but what I had was you and I were having a conversation about the eras, and we were looking at your stuff. It was right before you were going live with everything. And I said, am I missing we were talking and I said 12, the houses and then I woke up and I thought, why am I thinking 12 when, if the eras are defined by the constellations that the sun's in, then the sun is in Ophiuchus. Is Ophiuchus going to be its own 13th era?
Well, it's in that section. I just made it 12 Scorpio when I did the timelines, just because all those feminine timelines are all Ice Age and quiet and primitive, and humanity is sleeping. It's sort of a womb phase. And the symbolism that are with all of the feminine signs, no scales have ever been invented. It's the age of the vulture. It's the age of Virgo. It's the age of Libra. It's the age of Scorpio. All the feminine signs until you get to the age of Leo. And then you have the younger Dryas, which is this catastrophic kind of sudden ice melt and climate change. And you have the onset of people starting to cultivate wild grains and herd cattle. And you get farming and agriculture for the first time. And it's this very intense weather change where the goddess that was mother all this time has suddenly become fierce, and we have to band together as humans to survive. And then we get into the age of Cancer, which I like to look at as the scarab, because they're coming out of the muck. They're sort of rising up again. Human beings are rising up, men and women together in balance, rising up and becoming solid again. And then you have Age of Gemini, when Doggerland goes under. And so there's more climate change again. And then you get into the next age. Let me see if I can just upload my timeline. There was a way for me to upload a file last time. Oh, present.
Yeah, I think you just put the file in place of where you are, and then you just toggle back, I think, to show you.
Let me see, because it looks like I can share screen.
Mm-hmm. I think all of you can.
Or I can have, like, I've got so many things open right now. I didn't even like close up all the stuff I was working.
You have like 15 windows, right?
Yeah, I have 12 book windows and one.
Save those files. Save those files.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no kidding, right? We don't want
All
any
that work.
glitches.
No.
Let me open timeline. This is so crazy.
Is there? Do you have to go into?
It would be nice to have a visual.
Because do you have an era that you would say humanity starts with?
Oh, humanity starts eons and eons, cycles and cycles ago. You know, 26,000 years. We don't start 26,000. We start like 100,000 or 150,000 years ago. And before then, there were other races of humans that were like Neanderthals and Denisovans. I can't even say it. Denisovans. I don't know. That I can't say that word, but I can spell it. So there were other humans who died out. There were other kinds of humanoid people who died out. Neanderthals died out 40,000 years ago.
Julie, while you're bringing that up, I see here the age of Scorpio, Imhotep, and between that and the age of Capricorn, you have the age of Nekhbet.
Yes, that is the age
Would
of
that be
Sagittarius.
Ophiuchus?
It would be Sagittarius.
It would be, okay.
Imhotep would be Ophiuchus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because Imhotep is the original sort of name for Ophiuchus.
Okay.
I just wondered if thematically there's a value in literally doing a book and a set or something, and I know that that's the last thing you want to hear.
I am doing a book. These things are in my books.
Right. Okay. So Ophiuchus as an era, though, an era.
Ophiuchus as an era.
Yeah.
I didn't do that because it shares space with Scorpio, and because when you talk about Imhotep, you're talking about the pyramid builder, which is in the age of Taurus. So, and that's when the full moon is in Imhotep. So you're also dealing with a time when lunar astrology or lunar is more important than solar. And the era of the snake the snake holder, bearer, who knows what was going on then? There's a lot of mystery going on.
That's what I'm right. That's
right.
What I'm yeah.
So if that was a time when actual pyramids were being built, that's possible. Because I don't know. Because
that's what I'm wondering.
The information that I've found is that Imhotep built the step pyramids. Okay. And that happened during the age of Taurus. And they say that Thoth is the one who built the pyramids, the big Giza pyramids.
Wow. I did hear that.
And even though Khafre will get the credit for it, the pharaoh Khafre will get the credit for it. That's very questionable because, and I was thinking about Thoth being the god of scribes, right? And magic. And so that's when there was the first time that people had real writing, was in the age of Taurus. And if up until, I'm thinking that Thoth was probably a lunar god, because these Neteru were nature based. And so here is a person, here is a god who's all of a sudden taking on attributes of humans who are writing. Now we have a scribe god, but that's not a Neteru. That's a someone putting human attributes onto a god. And so that I see this is the first time that we put human attributes on a god. So if we write that we've built these pyramids, then we have built these pyramids, and it's magic. So I'm thinking these pyramids are older, and that the records say that they were built during the age of Taurus, but maybe they didn't even know who built those pyramids, because the Bosnian pyramids and the pyramids that are in the Ukraine are all dated to 10,000 years. So I think it's a mystery, and they didn't know, so they just took credit. And having Thoth being the one that built it makes him the magician and the scribe, and then that's the magic.
Would that be the age of Gemini? For communication and writing?
Well,
is that possible?
If it did happen in the age of Imhotep, then it would have been 17,000 to 16,000 BC. Okay, let me see if I can share screen. I have a very messy desktop right now. Share screen.
Wow.
Open settings.
I'm scrolling through the document. This is hefty, Julie.
Yeah, I have it here.
Yeah. The hours. I like how you've gone into more detail.
It doesn't let me do this.
I'm
not able to just like show my desktop. It won't do that.
Let me see if it's something on my side. I think you've done this before though, right?
No, I've never done this before. Let me see if this will work. Window. Okay, share. Go to systems. Unlock the screen.
I'm going to try something while you're looking into that.
No, I can't figure this out. I'm going to have to take some other time to do that.
Nope, that doesn't work.
Yeah, it's not letting me just share my screen.
Let me
do it, Amy.
What page is it? What page is it of?
Are you sending the whole?
For the document. In the document?
Yeah.
The timeline.
Let's see. It is.
Okay, because I want to make sure.
Yeah.
Because I have it open here. It's in Dropbox.
It's the first pages.
The first page?
So you have page 9, and you have page 10 and page
there you go.
11.
Okay.
Those are all the timelines. I had to cut them into thirds because they're so big.
Yeah.
But I have one document where I have them all together, so I know that they all fit together.
Let me see if this will work. I have page 10. Is that the one you want to show, or
it could be in your book? It could be in that one. The one I have open right now, it has it on.
I have age of.
Yeah, just look. Just
okay. Let me.
And I'll.
Okay. Let's do this. Share screen, and then you could tell me keep scrolling. Present, share screen.
Okay.
Select a tab. Let's see if it's going to do this one. Window. No, I think because it is a document. Hang on. Okay. No. Okay. I haven't downloaded it. That's why. Okay, hang on. Oh, that's why, Julie. I don't have
just a file.
You have it in Word.
In Word.
PDF.
Okay, let me just see if I can. It wants me to either do a slide or a video file, and I don't have a video file. Slides, your computer, upload.
Okay, I think maybe.
I think I can upload an image. Let me see if I can. All right, fold. Let's see.
I think. Let's see.
Where's my timeline?
Yes, Peter.
What did he say?
Connect that over Sagittarius, right?
Yes.
Yes, Peter.
Try my.
Oh, it'll come out if it's a PDF. All right, I'm going to open just the first timeline. Oh, I said, as a guest user, you can upload 2 slides. Please log in or sign up. What? I'm in. I'm already live.
Mercury's retrograde.
It sure is.
Retrograde, full moon, Virgo.
If I disappear for a second, I'll come right back.
Yeah. Okay. I think I may. Okay. Okay. So I don't know why. Let's try.
I just did some math for more follow up to you, Julie, when you get a second. Because if it's 72 years that the sun moves 1 degree in every constellation, right? And we know the number of degrees of Ophiuchus is let's see, Ophiuchus is 18.5 degrees large. So if we take 72 years times each degree, 18.5, then the era of Ophiuchus would be like roughly 1,332 years. Whereas the era of Scorpio would be 468 years. So if I'm understanding Julie correctly, she's just lumping those two together for a total of, let's see, 1332 plus 468 for 1,800 years even as one era, for one stretch of 1,800 years. But I don't know. I'm very curious to know if there was something very unique that happened, bless you, in those 468 years that would be just Scorpio, you know? If it would be, there would be nuance, you know, between the Scorpio era and the Ophiuchus era, or maybe there wasn't nuance in between those two.
I got lost. And then it just popped me right out. I can't have the timeline and myself at the same time.
Yeah,
you are the timeline.
Exactly, she is.
Unless you can create,
I'm ready to
like a
print
second account, like
the
ages
I should
or
just
something.
print it and hold it up.
I'm still trying to work on it because I got it to PDF, but for some reason, I don't know, it doesn't. The Acrobat reader does not want to. It can't be shown.
You showed something before. It can't, but it's in a different format. That's
I would. The PDF would have loaded, but then it's told me I needed to sign in, and as soon as I signed in, I was thrown off, gone.
Able to see the contents.
So bizarre.
Okay, so let me try again. Go to system preferences.
I mean, I can try it presenting on my side. I have them downloaded. Do you want me to just try?
Yeah,
Patrick.
I mean, I don't know if it's gonna work, but I'm willing to
try. Just try.
Okay, present. Let's see.
You're the one with the Jupiter and Uranus in your sign right now.
Share screen. Let's just see what happens.
I don't even have a share screen, or I would try. I don't even do it.
Robin just holds space.
I just want to,
yes,
sit. I'm not going to try anything crazy.
Right.
Never give back.
No, it's not.
No.
Okay, no, what? I'll try it and it'll work. You guys will be like, "Oh my god, what happened?"
Oh wait! Is this working? No.
Where is it?
Where would it go?
It looked like it was going to load it up, but it didn't. Let me do one more thing. Let's see, slides maybe. Do I have any slides from my computer? Upload file, and let me go to the downloads folder.
Yeah, if it's a PDF, it seemed like it would take it.
Yeah, Julie, we're thinking the same thing. It's just it wants me to set up something in preferences. I don't.
Yeah, there's no like I can't pull.
We have to go to settings for it. Oh, I did something.
You're still there, Robin. Hold on.
Okay. I'm like,
General.
There's
slides from my computer. Upload file. Desktop. Julie graphics. No, it's not. It's like they're there, but they're grayed out. Like they do not let me select them. Any of them.
Okay, so some of mine were like that too, but the PDFs were like I could have clicked on them, but then when I clicked on it, then it wanted me to sign in, and then I got thrown out.
Yeah, no, mine's just all gray, but they're all JPEGs. Mine are just JPEGs.
Is this? No, it isn't. I just answered my own question because this hasn't been released. If this was on a website, then I can obviously.
Right.
I don't have it on a website.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
No, I don't have it.
Yeah.
Website.
So you're doing
Thank you, Peter. Oh, Peter, do you follow what I'm saying? I think you must. I'm just really curious. I'm going to keep pushing Julie on this because there's something bugging me about it, and I don't know why, but I feel like that's important. Peter's gonna figure this conundrum out that I'm having with the Scorpio Ophiuchus.
Because, well, the Serpent Bearer would be on the horizon at some point during the age of Scorpio.
It would.
So it would be in one of those years.
So what I'm curious about is, you know, we know the degrees, right? So we know that a Scorpio as a sign, as a constellation, is 6.5 degrees. We know it's 72 years for every degree.
Right.
So if I do 72 by that, then that would mean that the era of Scorpio would only be about 468 years, just Scorpio.
Yes.
But then Ophiuchus is 18.5, so that's 1332 years, 1,332 years.
So the most of that era would be the Serpent Bearer.
It would.
And it would be from 17,853 BCE.
Okay.
Until like
let's see here.
The last 16,053 years. So, you know, subtract your 400 years or whatever for Scorpio.
Yes. So what I'm curious about is, in your research, have you seen anything that would have maybe fallen in a weird something anomaly, like in a 468 year chunk, anything that's abnormal to the rest of the chunk? Because that would be the Scorpio era. And I'm wondering if there was something that was like a 500-year blip that stands out, you know, that would
well, missing.
What happens is during the age of the vulture, during Sagittarius, we have the height of the glaciation. It's the height of it. So then it starts tapering off. And
Sagittarius era is like 2,412 years ish.
Yeah. So that whole thing that's the peak at 18,000 is the peak of glaciation. And then what doesn't really start changing, it's just the same all through Serpent Bearer and all through Scorpio and all through Libra and then in the middle of Virgo, the African humid period starts. And that's when the Sahara was green. Actually, the Sahara was green like for most of this. But
and what era is that, you said?
Through the Ice Age.
Oh.
The Sahara was a great place to live. Africa was a great place to live during the Ice Age. And then in the middle of Virgo, it just begins to get humid, right? So from the middle of Virgo until you get to the middle of Leo, it gets warmer. And during the Younger Dryas is when the big meltdown happens, and that is age of Leo.
Interesting.
And then you have the African humid period all through up until the age of Taurus.
That long?
Yes.
Wow.
It lasts all the way to, let's see, do I have actual dates on here? Yes, to 3000 BCE, which is in the middle of the age of Taurus. Kind of, you know, when things are really like human beings are inventing things, and we have the invention of the spinning wheel or the potter's wheel, and that, you know, it's just like invention after invention, and domestication of animals is all happening from the time of the Younger Dryas on. People are changing very quickly, and going from hunter-gatherer, which is all they ever were, into agriculture. And, you know, they start out with actually the domestication of the dog happens way, way back in the age of Capricorn.
Wow, that far back.
That far back. So far back.
So you have like pins in a cushion, you know, I think of like the Where's Waldo map, but in a timeline view.
Yeah.
You have like the dog domestication for clearly as a bullet point for Capricorn of the Capricorn era.
Yes.
Do you feel like you've got bullet points? Like, how are you feeling about your bullet points for each era? Like, because like Peter said, it's really hard to find specific historical stuff for each of these.
It is, because the population of humans is only about 1 million for the whole globe.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the life expectancy is 20 years.
Wow.
So you have a bunch of kids having kids and
having dogs.
And having dogs. Dogs on the beach, and they're just spreading their genes around, and that's it. And probably getting high and eating whatever they can find.
Probably.
And
well, you mean the millennials, but like back then.
All back then, yeah.
Do you think we've been through one whole global cycle of, do you think we've had every astrological era yet on this planet, or do you think
yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
We've had
a couple times, right?
A bunch of times. I mean, Neanderthals, what was it, 500,000 years ago? Something like that. And human, like modern humans, I think is 150,000 years. So we've not only been through the cycle, been through the great year, like a bunch of times as human beings, as modern humans. There were no Neanderthals in this great year, because this great year begins at 26,000 years ago. Actually, I have it at 24,297 BCE is the last age of Aquarius. And there was a coronavirus during that time that affected humans.
Well, it's cyclical. That's the
yeah.
I think it's so interesting. We were talking about before you got here, but we were saying how, you know, we're definitely in that blended space. We're clearly, if you're looking at what's constellation is viewable on the horizon line, clearly age of Aquarius right now, but absolutely 100% it's a blended experience. Pisces is putting up a fight. It's going to lose. The era of Pisces will end eventually, but it's interesting.
Pisces has been, you know, being fought with ever since the printing press arrived.
Right. We've been in that.
That was the beginning of the age of information. That was the very first inkling of the age of information.
So it's so interesting though to like look at our lives, and we can see like, okay, we can see Aquarius rearing its head. We can see Pisces putting up its fight. So it's interesting to like what you're doing with your deck to back up, because we didn't really introduce what your deck is yet, but the deck you're working on is the Great Year, and it's basically a deck that's going to have every one of these eras and in these historical bullet points, given this, everything's going to have a timeline and some of your your information, your synthesis, your work in this. And it's so exciting.
It is. It's so much goodness.
The age of Pisces actually begins with the mythic rise of the Roman Empire. When I counted back, it was exactly.
Well, it was age of Pisces is technically what, 2,664-ish years.
Yeah, I went with the degrees and I just counted back the degrees. I went, okay, if the age of Aquarius started in 1900, where would this have begun?
Yes, yeah.
And it hit me right on the mythic rise of the Roman Empire. And that wasn't like the actual rise of the Roman Empire, but that was the date they gave it. And I thought it was very interesting that this is the date they chose to have their mythic rise. Was this very beginning of the age of Pisces.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah. And the founding of Rome was 753 BCE according to their mythology.
Well, when was it?
753 BCE.
Yeah, so that makes because if we're in 2024 right now and you would add those dates, that gets us right about 2,600 years ago. Yeah. Yeah, so wild. It's so wild that it's so wild to me that Pisces, this era of belief, that's such a defining line as well as to when we stopped kind of looking up to the actual cosmos and we started just looking down.
And they're even the founding of Rome is a belief, because it is this Romulus and Remus, two brothers that founded Rome, and it's this elaborate mythology, and it's not even the actual date when they started the culture. I mean, when a couple of Roman farm co-ops decided to, pool their resources and work together in Italy. And
Julie, do you feel? Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Before I forget, do you feel the information that you have here in the book and also in the cards, but specifically in the book itself, can open up things historically that may have been missing for people who, we're constantly exploring.
Absolutely.
Yes, because I think because there's two big floods, right? There's the flood that happened during the Younger Dryas, and there's also the flood that happened in 6,500 when Doggerland, which is an area of land that connected the UK with Europe, went under. But it didn't go completely under until the age of Gemini. And then the highlands that were still left as an island, they called it Dogger Bank, that went under like 1,500 years later. So you have these, cultures that were, and they know there were people there because they've dug points out of the sea that were embedded in peat. So like hunting points, spear points.
Yeah.
And so here's a whole culture of people who may have emigrated from these areas if they were in boats or if they had boats, and it seems like they did. They may have all come in to the European areas then,
Wow.
So I'm looking at the things that crop up and the historical, as much as everybody wants, the Fertile Crescent to be the cradle of civilization. I think we're going to find that it was in Africa and it was in that sub-Sahara area more so. And even though there was definitely culture there, they were making beer and planting wheat and doing all the things that were happening in Africa. I think, there's just, it's not there's like pockets of culture that were everywhere. And it's not the source of it. It's not the source of it.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
This is important. And that's why myself, Patrick, Robin, and everyone, and not everyone, but quite a few others who know your work, they see that there's information that hasn't been brought up before, and it's being done from a different perspective. And that's very Age of Aquarius.
It is.
We're seeing this. The word that I've been saying a lot in my readings, Julie, revealing. Ever since the solar eclipse, I've been talking to people who I've been reading with.
Word for everything.
Things are coming up. Things are coming up, and it's coming up in a very interesting way.
And those things will keep coming up.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, they're going to actually come up out of the earth because there's things that are melting. Mm-hmm. And there's, I think the places that people should dig for archaeological digs is the Sahara.
Yes, I agree.
And South Africa areas, and South America, and in that North Sea. What's under that water, and more in Anatolia and that area too, because there's stuff there too. And they're finding things underground, like living underground, and that's very telling as well.
Mm-hmm. I think it's also fascinating when we find the human remains, like Iceman. And there's one not too long ago, probably, 5-10 years ago, who may have been dated as the oldest person found so far.
Right, from 5,000.
Yeah.
And that he changed the Bronze Age. Like he changed the dates on the Bronze Age.
Yeah, it's just amazing the education that we had in school and what we know of these eras and ages are now being changed because of the tools, the remains that they're finding, and that Earth is more than likely older than what we know it to be.
For sure. There's so much to uncover and reveal.
Yeah,
and that's what I love. Wow. That's what I love about history, and just. I know you're saying that this book is no longer correct as you like it to be, but it's still opening up things for me. It's like, wow, there is more to go back on. And when I was in school, I wanted to be an archaeologist.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah, I just never did, but maybe you should.
Maybe we can now.
You can.
Yeah.
There's still time.
Never too late.
Never too late.
Yeah. I think you're definitely a version of one.
Oh, there's all kinds of archaeology. There's dream archaeology. There's psychic archaeology. There's, ways of jumping timelines and looking back.
Yeah.
And I'm using this system to look back at, because you can use cards to look back. You can use the cards to look into anything, right?
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
Julie, by you doing this whole timeline, obviously you're seeing patterns. You're seeing how the patterns of how humans survived, how they worked, how they interacted. With that experience, I don't know if this is going to make sense to you, but seeing the patterns of the past, are you getting a sense of where us as the human soul could be moving towards? I mean, we're already seeing technology going way into realms that I think most of us will not be able to experience. But how do you see? What do you see? I'm jumping now from our past, present. What do you see pattern-wise?
I see a future where, we're going to connect more with the natural forces again, to connect with nature again, as more so than just our own vanity. I mean, the age of Pisces was definitely this monumental time of awakening, but it was such an ego trip.
Mm-hmm.
And there was so much power struggle and power hoarding and back, into these other ages where people were more connected to nature, and they probably had a bigger connection and probably had a bigger view of the universe than we do.
Mm-hmm.
And that I think we could possibly get ourselves back to those places. And maybe when we were only 1 million of us here, and we weren't here for very long, we had more of a memory of other lifetimes, and knew when people would be coming back, and maybe, we had I don't know, more of a connection to everything than we do now.
But do you feel to get to that point, we have to get to a point of destruction? And then, no?
I think that's the Roman wet dream, is to have all this destruction. Like,
yeah,
or just out of the whole slave master slaving and dominating and conquering and and spreading. That's all Piscean.
Yeah,
that doesn't work, because what you do to nature, you do to yourself. Mm-hmm. And it just doesn't work. And that everybody has a piece of the puzzle. And the whole Piscean age missed out on the connection that women have in the world. And they were so far up their own butts, of male dominance, that they didn't even believe that women had any part of procreation. They were just merely baskets. And the old ways that, in the olden days, when it was all the goddess, men didn't know they had a part in it. And most of them were gone before the babies were born anyway, and they weren't allowed in the birthing rooms. They were, women took care of death and birth. Yeah. And so it was all about the goddess, and it was the hearth and the goddess and meat for sex program. And that was pretty much what life was. Wow. And I think there'll be, I think we've got a lot to explore. There's a big universe out there.
Yeah. It's important that you get this information out, and when it comes out, you'll have a large support of people, because it's this information that needs to be known, just like the true sidereal, spreading the word, let people know about this, because you have record of it. You're seeing patterns.
Yeah, definitely seeing patterns. Like the age of Aries, Amun is this invisible god, right? And so all the invisible gods come from the age of Aries, and it's a pretty short age, but there's, metallurgy. They go from Stone Age. The age of Taurus is still a Stone Age, when they're building pyramids and trying to copy the pyramids, trying to build the pyramids. And then we get into this Bronze Age, and then begins this real power struggle. And there's like a power struggle between like different tribes of men, or different groups of men. And that's when the use of metal becomes really a tool of war. Mm-hmm. And domination. And they don't know how to live in a group situation. Whereas when we're all spread out, we're just living in pods of sisterhoods. Then you were the son, or you were the lover, or they didn't know how to be in a big group with possessions and staying in one place. And then sharing space. They didn't know how to do that, especially when others were coming in because of climate change or catastrophe or whatever. They would come to the water source. They didn't know how to share that.
Well, that's interesting, because everything, I would guess back then, everything is community based. Isn't it?
I think it's more than it is now, but I think there is still these power struggles.
Mm-hmm.
and you see border problems and territory problems, because when you're farming, you're taking up space, and this is my space and this is my stuff that I've grown. But when you're foraging, it's like, hey, look over here, there's this and this. And you just move on to the next space when things are empty.
Mm-hmm.
So
there was this movie that came back. It just came into my, it popped into my head as you were talking, Julie. Maybe one of you can help me remember it. It had something fire in it. I think it came out in the late 70s, 80s. It had, it showed.
Chariots of Fire?
What is it?
Chariots of Fire?
No. This involved like how Neanderthals or a group of people, they made a film out of it and how they interacted. And it's from our generation.
I do remember, but I don't remember the name of it.
It was something fire. It was when they discovered fire. And so there's a scene where I guess, I don't know, one of the tribesmen was playing with something and they saw the spark. There is no dialogue. There is no dialogue in it. And it's something fire. And I think it was just the discovery of fire and how it changed. Fire changed everything.
Yeah.
And it, what's Chong? Remember Cheech and Chong?
Yeah.
One of their, I think it was Chong's daughter was in the film. Ray Dawn Chong.
Yeah, now I remember. I think I remember.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Something fires, and it's film, no dialogue. It's all the communication. And I'm just thinking about this as you're talking about at that time, going way, way back.
If somebody remembers when they're watching this back, put it in the comments below.
Right.
I'll Google it. I'll probably find it. What are the turning points, Julie, that you see going through the charts from as far back? What are some of the major turning points that you saw that really shifted the cultures, the groups, the way people interacted?
Well, I think it was the end of, for sure, it was the humid period ending, and there was some like Sahara drying up and people coming from living in the Sahara and coming to the Nile. But there was a whole bunch of time where during the humid period in the early parts where the Nile Valley was just too swampy and too hot and humid to live in, because it was just that the floods would be like tsunamis and it was too dangerous to live there. But in 17,000 there were people living there, because they have carvings in a cave in a place called Cuccia that has got a cow that's carved into the wall from 17,000 BC. So that takes us all the way back to the age of Scorpio. People were living on the Nile, but it was probably still pretty cold then. So when the humid period came, it was dangerous to live on the Nile, and people were in the Sahara and probably, in deeper Africa, and also in the Mesopotamia area, because it was too dangerous.
Dangerous just because of the environment.
Flooding. Yeah, because it was too humid. A lot of crocodiles and hippopotamuses, but those tsunamis would come. The rains would come, but it was so much rain, and it was so. That's when we would have the weathering of rock that would have changed that the rock to look like a lion during the age of Leo.
The Sphinx, the base.
Right. So I have one of my cards as a rock formation that looks like a lion. And there are actual rock formations that were weathered by intense rain that looked like a lion. And I took one of those pictures and I made it into something that could have been made into the Sphinx.
It's funny, there's one that looks like the same. It's missing a lot more of it, but in the Grand Canyon, there's that same weathering.
I saw
And
that.
There's one that literally looks like, if you squint, that you could see the Sphinx right there. Yeah.
It seems like that would be like a natural rock formation if a rock was being washed away suddenly by water.
Yeah.
And I think back to when we went to Wisconsin Dells. There's a place in Wisconsin called Wisconsin Dells, and we went on the Dells tour, and it's a big boat tour, and it's all, washed away at the Dells. When the glacier melted, I think it was, I can't remember, like 12,000 something BC. There were Indians living here. There were Paleo Indians living here, and they would have been a witness to this great melting and the washing away of the Dells that happened within a month. That all of that washed away within a month, and the soft stone was washed away, and places like Devil's Lake appeared, and those are a lot of really hard stones, and so the lake is there. And when I remember when I was there at the Sphinx and I looked at the rocks around the Sphinx, and the tour guide said, and this is where water had washed away all the stone. I went, oh my God, it's like just like the Wisconsin Dells. It looks exactly like it.
Oh.
And I mean, I think people who like Graham Hancock and people who are like doing research on this should go to Wisconsin Dells and see this is what happened at the same time. And I think it was the same time.
So cool.
And also the Badlands. The Badlands going to New Mexico. When I was there for a few months, outside in Albuquerque, there's this area where hieroglyphs and all these beautiful rock formations. There's one place I wanted to go to outside of Albuquerque where the rock formations were like in the shape of mushrooms. Just the way, so the force that you can see this water coming up and creating all these shapes. Just, I mean, the desert, when you drive through desert areas, Arizona, so on and so forth. And you think once upon a time, we were all this was underwater. Even when I went to Death Valley, going to Badwater and seeing
salt flats.
Yeah, but seeing the water line. This is where water used to be. The bad water was all underwater. I don't know how many feet were under. It's just amazing to see that.
Right. I like Graham Hancock's book called America Before, and I read it, and it made sense to me. Graham Hancock book, America Before, and it came out a couple years ago, and it talked about an impact, like a meteor impact or a comet impact hitting like somewhere in Greenland, and they found an impact crater, and it said that if an impact happened, it would have melted that glacier very quickly. It would have set fires, and that the West would have been burning, and that they have found at that time period like ash or a black line through the archaeological digs. And that was when the megafauna was wiped out, because up until then,
when was this
megafauna? Who is this?
What astrological era would that have fallen in?
That would have been the Younger Dryas.
That's what?
It's the age of Leo.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
About desert glass meteorites. Like that.
And they
think about it.
Yeah. So I recommend reading it. And Graham gets a lot of flack, but he's been diving into the oceans by Japan and looking at underground things and exploring these places that no one else will look at because they just don't want to rock the history. They don't want to know that humanity is older and that there could have been, a greater civilization, a more advanced civilization that got wiped out by climate change. And nobody wants to rock the boat, either if it's theological or what it is. They don't want to rock the boat. But there's evidence out there. And look at how quickly we've gone from building with stone to going into space. And this happened in a very short time. It's just a tiny blip. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of years where this could have happened before. And it's, buried, and it could have been destroyed. It could be under the water because when the glaciers melted, they rose the sea levels to such a point that anybody on the coast would have been underwater.
Yeah.
So we need to look around those shorelines and the places where there was land and isn't anymore, in that mud, in, under in the shorelines, because, our DNA says that we were beach combers, that we left Africa, we've combed the beaches and traveled, like 10 miles or a mile every 10 years or something like that. And that the DNA, shows us where we followed, where we went. And our DNA is our best way of knowing where we were. There's more diversity within Africa than outside of it.
Yeah. And it is your branded, like you said, he gets some flack because he's doing it, but that's sort of the theme that's happening. That's very Aquarian age right now. There's this theme of anybody that is willing to kind of go there. Granted, not everybody has the best, maybe, or the communication skills are not always the ideal, but we are human, right? So there's agendas as well, and there's all kinds of invested interests. But at the end of the day, overall, the people that are kind of going there right now fearlessly in any of these subjects, it is fringy. It's the rebel move. It's very Aquarius.
Right.
And it's sort of like the marching to the beat of your own drum. To me, it's so funny though, because it's really nothing original. It's reverse engineering. We're actually reverse engineering. We're not blazing any new paths. We're almost remembering or refinding, or rediscovering.
And I don't know what came first, the astrology or the astrological ages, because once you get to Leo, it just feels like, it almost feels contrived, because during the age of Taurus, when the pyramids were built, we have Ta, which is the craftsman god. So we have this craftsman god building, and he's multi-layered. He's the Apis bull on earth. He's the craftsman god, Ptah. And then when the bull dies, he becomes Osiris and goes to the underworld. But in the midst of it, the voice of Osiris is found in the bees that are attracted to the blood. So then there's this blood mystery that goes in with Taurus, right? And then I think, to all this research that I've done in my past, where this blood magic is so important. The priests of Israel, their tent was splashed with blood. The tent that held the Ark of the Covenant was splashed with blood.
Yeah.
And the blood was power.
Yeah.
And then it hits me, because I'm watching all these Max Dashu movies about the goddess, because that's what you find when you get into the Virgo era. So I'm reading all about the ancient goddess stuff, and she's talking about the symbol the goddesses in these figurines, and she says, and you can see the V of the vulva in here, and like she's pointing out the vulva, the vulva, the vulva. It's this V shape, and then I look at the constellation of the Taurus, and it's the V shape, and I'm like, was the V shape once the vulva? And this is why it has to be the bull's head, and the bull is sacrificed, because the bull's head, if you go to Anatolia, the bull's head in the tomb represents the full term womb. So you're putting your dead people in these tombs with these bull heads. That's a symbol of full term pregnancy and bringing them back. And so when these priests are like sacrificing these bulls and making them bleed, they're just they are being repetitious about women's blood mysteries, and that's the cults that they were not allowed in.
Wow.
And now they're pushing the women out, and then once you get to the age of Aries and the age of Pisces, they push the women out completely.
Yeah.
And
totally,
there is no goddess anymore in the Piscean age in European culture.
Aries did it with the brawn, and Pisces did it with the philosophies and the law.
Yeah. And the law came in and just marginalized the feminine altogether.
Yeah.
And I just was like, oh my goodness, look, we have all of these ages of the goddess here in ancient Paleo Stone Age.
Yeah.
And now we get to the Piscean age, and the magician has taken over, and there is no goddess.
Because they feel that they revealed the secret, or that they found what the answer is.
Well, the blood was the secret.
Yeah.
And then you have, things like the Bohemian Grove, and they have the owl goddess there, and then and they do all their rituals. These are the old things. These are things that women did, not because they were malicious, but because this is their natural function, right?
This is why I'm so fascinated with the Scorpio. I am having such I can't quite put my finger on it right now, resonance with the Scorpio Ophiuchus era, because I feel like the symbology of the snake, the biting, the fluid exchange, the shedding of skin, the biblical Adam and Eve. Like, if you look at some of these themes that keep coming forward, it's such an alchemical time period, like not time period, it's such an alchemically themed sort of rich space. This snake woman shedding,
would have definitely been in the garden. I mean, I see anything before farming, anything before the Younger Dryas period, anything before the age of Leo was the garden. It was all the garden.
And so then we just start referencing those stories. The snake is very phallic in its symbology. The healing staff of Asclepius has the snake going up a wooden rod. You have it sort of being the downfall of the downfall of humankind, but you also have it being the transmission of knowledge too. So it's this.
I love my sun sign.
And then all of this, it's like telephone game, because now we get to 2024 and we're like, Scorpios are intense. It's like the telephone game.
Yeah, there's probably something in that age of Scorpio.
Yeah, there's something there. There's something there.
There's definitely medicine there.
You might not want to get on that path, Julie.
There's definitely medicine there for sure.
Yeah.
And
you do have it. You do have in the workbook, you have the Scorpio, the card. What is it? Woman giving birth? Is that my thinking?
Ophiuchus, the snake bearer. Yes. Was the promise that the wisdom would come back. And I have the pyramids in the background.
Julie, what age would be the Garden of Eden?
All of the ancient Paleo age, all the way up until the farming era.
So what astrological signs would that encompass?
from 10,000 BC and before. And so that would be the middle of the age of Leo, age of Virgo, age of Libra, age of all the ages that are under the rule of the feminine.
So going all the way up to
all the way
Sag.
back, all the way back past Sag and into Capricorn.
Oh, into Cap.
Wow.
And on backwards. It would have been just because once farming happened, then it became work. And though it became security, and there were people who were finally able to have security because they were sure that they would have, they weren't just by chance coming across some foraging things that were growing that could eat. They were intentionally planting seeds in the ground to make things grow. They realized that these seeds would germinate and grow, and they could make them grow, and they could make what they wanted to grow, and they could make as much of it as they wanted to grow. And so they were taking control of what nature had already been providing for them. And this was a choice, And I think what happened is if they had some kind of cataclysm that happened and they had to leave where they were, they took things with them. They took what they could with them. So they took their food with them. They took their animals. They took animals like baby animals with them because they weren't keeping them, but they didn't want to leave, the deer behind or the sheep behind or they didn't want to leave these good animals behind to drown or to die in fire or whatever the cataclysm was. They just grabbed everything and went. And then when they came to the new place didn't have these things, and they brought it with them. Thank you. I was going to have that before.
I know. I see that.
Peter to the rescue. It's so interesting to me that humanity, right? And like, especially in these last couple thousand years, we do know that while we eat, sleep, and breathe by a calendar system, the calendar system that we are living within these days, both for days, months, years, there's nothing innately connected anymore to the cosmos. Even though the cosmos was the basis, or is the basis for the defining of years and months and days and all of that, our current systems are not actually tethered to it in any real natural organic way anymore. And it's funny to me that, like, going back to that, what came first, the chicken or the egg, the cosmos at its very root, it can be truly nothing but a natural calendar system.
It is a natural calendar.
And it is. And so in that, what defines that calendar system, these eras, this time frame it takes for the sun to get through all of these eras, is such a great, accurate way, to Amy's point, about going back and relearning, reevaluating our history, because we actually can't rely on, like, if you go back to 1400 to like tarot. I go back to tarot, Visconti Sforza, 1400s Italy. Right. We already know, just in that time frame, when we start talking about the 1400s, the 1500s, there were years discarded. There were months discarded. There, like, we are not technically in, like, 2024 is only the current year because we choose to accept it. But if we were to actually start counting years and working our way back, because the calendar system was reinvented and reinvigorated and reestablished a few times, we've lost years. It's not a way that we can't actually just count back our years as we know them now and get to land in any kind of accurate spot.
Yeah, I know, because there's
versions.
Right.
Right. But the actual real calendar, which is the sun's annual journey through the actual 13 constellations, that is a way in which we can reverse engineer accurate timing and in that get to some of this accurate history and time frames. So it's like, what comes first, the chicken or the egg?
Well, here's something that's really interesting.
Okay.
In Robert Bauvel's book Imhotep, he talks about the monuments of Giza lining up with the sky from 10,450 BCE as Zeb-Tepi, right?
Okay.
So when they look at the monuments, they see the 3 pyramids lining up with Orion. So they lined up. What would the date be when you line up Orion with where it is and the constellation of Leo and Sirius rising for the first time? And they pinpointed the date to be 10,450 of the Sphinx, looking at this Leo rising, right?
Okay.
And yet we don't have a calendar using the sun and the solar and the equinoxes until the age of Taurus.
So that's wild.
I know, right? When they're building pyramids again. And
it obviously was there. That information was there. There's no question.
Of course it was there. And there were equinoxes and there were solstices.
Yeah.
And somebody knew that.
Well, in the circles, right? The stone circles, which are older.
Some of them are older.
Some of the stone circles. Is it that one that's in
Göbekli Tepe is
yes,
like
that's older.
12,000.
And that casts shadows that lets them know the equinoxes and the longest day of the year, the shortest day of the year. So they were tracking that, or they were somewhere in that.
It was aligned to that. And also the pyramids are aligned to that. And the Sphinx is aligned to the equinox.
Yeah.
And that is 10,000. They think the Sphinx is 10,000. They finally agree that the Sphinx is 10,000.
Now, if I'm just looking at this math real quickly, that takes us back to what? 10,000 years is the era of Leo.
Yes, to Zeb-Tepi, to that Younger Dryas period. And it may even be older than that, because like when John Anthony West would talk about the Sphinx being from the age of Leo, he thinks it was from the previous age of Leo because there was so much going on during the last age of Leo that he didn't think they would be able to build it.
What also is interesting is the Tabula Mundi is supposedly like the birth chart of creation, right? And it starts with Cancer, but obviously it would have to have been several great years back to Cancer if the birth of the universe, or the birth of this planet, truly has the birth chart being that the sun was in Cancer. Then it wouldn't have been this most recent.
No.
It would have had to have been several. So then it's how many?
Many.
Lots. Well, there are some people that will look at cave paintings and go, well, this is Taurus, and this is they'll show things to say that this is Taurus and this is other constellations in cave paintings. I had, some references that I kept from that, but I didn't put anything of that in here because it's older than what I have going on. So I don't know. It's all a mystery, and it certainly has me intrigued.
Me too.
Yeah.
So Julie, the dates here relating to the signs, because the dates that you have here for Real Sky Astrology are different from sidereal and true sidereal. So just kind of relating it to the ages, I just turned to Cancer. We have here the sun transits through Cancer, July 20th to August 10th. Is this the same kind of thinking that you can apply for those eras?
Yes.
To see what's going on. So
yes. And it was Patrick that gave me all those degrees. And I took the degrees and I did the degree times 72 years, and I did the math, and I just did, and I posted all the dates, and that's how I made my timeline.
That's so cool.
And then I just, I had sort of had equal little segments until I had those degrees. And then the younger Dryas fell right into Leo, and Taurus had not only had the domestication of bees, but also the building of the pyramids and Ka and the bull. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is perfect. And it was just lining up so well, like with this whole storyline. And then when it came to all of the goddess signs, all in a row,
this is just, oh my God.
It was all things that were modern. I mean, all of these descriptions were modern, except for Nekabet. And Nekabet seemed to be like this old African vulture goddess. And when I got to that age, I found that Amanat's oracle of the Orishas lined up perfectly with that age.
Oh, that's so good.
So I lined up all the Orishas in that age.
Oh, I love it.
I sent it to Amanat, and she's like, I want to write again. She's like, I'm so glad that you did this. And she's going to write my forward.
In there. That's so good.
And I was worried, like, is she going to think that I'm like co-opting her culture? And I didn't want that. But I couldn't not do it, because I was listening to her talk, and she was talking about how money is water, money is water. And so I get to this age of Nekbet, and Aquarius lines up with the second house of money and resources. And it's the goddess, of the ocean. And she's, no one ever gets mad at water. And water is the money. And it's like, oh my God, this is everything. And then I started lining up all the other Orishas around.
Oh my God.
And they all fit. And like, I had one for every single one of them. And, with Amanat to consult, it was like,
so good. So that's in there. Oh my
It's in there. It's in there. And it's so ancient. It's so African. And I really, I think it's really a gateway.
I think it all is.
I'm
so much fun. It's been so much fun. And now it's just the editing is left. And as soon as this Mercury retrograde gets over, I think I'm going to be ready to upload at least the cards for sure, and 3 of the books, and for sure before. And I'd like to finish by the end of the year, but we'll see how my husband.
I think.
So your Scorpio Ophiuchus era is one book.
It is.
Yeah.
But it's one sign. I mean, it's in one section.
It is. Yeah. Yeah. I'm just thinking where real sky like
meets the ages.
It's yeah. I think it's well, I just think, like you're with Real Sky Tarot and with the switching to the Real Sky, it is sort of so much reverse engineering to get people to sort of even accept 13 signs. So then to be doing this big deck, I think people will expect, I think people are going to expect a 13, or at least if it's in one book, like a real clear, like this 500 years was, or 468 years was Scorpio. This was something deliberate in that. Maybe it doesn't warrant its own, but
Well, here's something really interesting: is the sky goddess, the nut, and the Milky Way are kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
But also that is like this snake goddess, right? So she's a snake, and there was something that I just saw or read or something, because I'm like constantly reading, and I have this new book. That's what it is. It's the new book that I got. And Normandy Ellis recommended this new book, and it's Encyclopedia of the Gods, the only encyclopedia you'll ever need. So I'm reading this cover to cover, and I'm finding that this goddess that is the snake goddess of the the Milky Way is what is holding up the sky so that we can be under her. So I'm thinking that the snake bearer is the snake goddess holding up half the sky, holding up the sky so that humans can live on Earth.
And that also makes sense if you look at the constellation, because if you were looking at it, the snake would be higher up.
Yeah.
You know,
it crosses over like between Imhotep and Nekabet. And then it crosses again between Taurus and Gemini. And that's where it always is holding up these two halves. And you practically have them halved between the male signs and the female signs just with that Milky Way.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
I think it warrants that emphasis because there are people that are born with the sun in Ophiuchus, and so if your sun's in Ophiuchus, those people may look to this era and see, you know, we're still mining out what are the themes of Aquarian age, what are the themes of being, and so they'll they'll need that resource of going to the Ophiuchus era and seeing those themes and then intuiting what that relevancy is to them.
I didn't ignore Imhotep during the
I know you didn't, but I woke up literally in the middle of the night last night and I was like, I'm saving this for the live, Julie.
Robin has the book. Robin has it.
There. I do. Yeah, I do.
Yeah. I think it definitely should be like prominent somehow.
Do you feel with now the 13th sign coming up that there's going to be more information to know about Ophiuchus? Is there going to be also more information to know about the other signs as well?
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
There's a lot to know about the ages that we don't know.
Yeah.
A lot to know. And this is just one little digging point. And that there is so much really good symbolism that aligns beautifully with each one of the ages.
There's so much.
There's coherence there. It isn't just me imagining things. There's actually something really here.
Yeah. It's the thread. Like you're like finding those threads, and it's just like I feel like you're restoring, you know, a bit of this tapestry that it's never really been gone, but it's been long forgotten, you know.
Right, the sleeping thing,
but also filling in the blanks for some places in some areas.
And making history maybe a little more interesting.
Yes,
because you know some people think of history as being really dry and boring, and they don't have the chronology quite right. They don't have things in order, like what happened first and what happened later, and you know.
Julie, you were just always supposed to do this. Always.
Yes.
Your whole life. This is what you're supposed to do. I'm serious.
Spent my whole life doing this.
No, it's definitely, you can see it though. It's like these conversations and you see it in everybody that has come to Real Sky that I've talked to anyways. It's all like lineage, the lineage of it, you know. It's like it's not long before you hit, and I heard Julie, and I like, and Julie heard it from Robert, and like it's just this very interesting thing that's happening. And here we are with Amy, and you connected to Robin, and you know, it's and now Amy's off in her world doing her thing with her people, and I'm out doing my thing with my people. But it's this,
and there's going to be somebody out there that has got another piece.
Yes.
Always somebody with another piece.
Yes.
And it's like, it'll be some great little piece that'll just make the picture better. And
yes. And it's just revealing itself through us. It's, you know, it's revealing itself through the people at the right timing is everything, you know, and it's just the time.
Everything.
Timing was not my forte. It happened.
Timing is everything.
Well, that's the cosmic joke, right? Like this is all playing out first in this community of people that are we're the people that are supposed to, like, we're the
Oh my
people that get the
God.
rap for being so healy-feely all the time,
Right.
and like
Oh my
we're
God.
so open to everything, and like I've never seen such a large display of actual pushback, close down, don't open up.
Yeah.
Like this is not what you expect from
Yeah.
this realm
agree.
of
No.
people. But it
Well,
just goes to show we're human
so
first. We're
threatening.
human beings first.
Right. It's so threatening to have to read
Yes.
Right.
your doctrine.
Yeah.
And
Right.
Yeah.
I know we've all been there.
Totally. It will all be there again.
And I get frustrated when I'm like, faced with the fact that I, some cherished misconception that I had.
Yeah.
But then when I finally just open up to it, and then more comes, and
Yeah.
it's much better to know than to just hold fast to what you believe.
Yeah.
Well, you have the confidence. You start seeing it. It's like, if someone comes in and questions it, it's like, there's no way.
Right.
Just like,
Just go
remember,
look up.
just remember when you made that trip and that teacher that corrected you.
Yeah.
And you're like, no. And you're like, you changed face.
Yeah, you're right.
And it's hard too, because we all have our views and whatnot. And I see this when I do readings. I'm not trying to convert anyone at all. I just want them to listen.
Share and explain.
Yeah, exactly. But just be open. And that's how I approach when it comes to introducing a new topic. I'm going to be doing a workshop at the place that I'm working at, just understanding yourself, but through the tarot.
That's good.
And I'm just saying, come with no expectations. Please don't have any expectations, because then it's not going to be worth it for you to be here if you're thinking it's going to be all this. Yeah. Just be open to listen and to learn.
Yeah, and the sky is like another tarot deck, really.
It is.
And looking back at the timelines, it's like doing a reading.
It is.
Totally.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Funny, I had somebody message me and they said, I've been a long time follower and I love what you do. But this real sky stuff has really, listening to you for a year, it's been like, I'm going to be honest, I've been this close from unfollowing you. And I said, it's okay. I'm in real sky. So I get it. And they said, but it all switched because they said it made total sense to them that this past eclipse season happened in Pisces season.
Wow.
And every bit of their experience was the eclipse season took place within the season of Pisces, which it did. And they were like, there's nothing Aries about what took place with the eclipse season.
Man.
And I said, nope, it all happened during Pisces season, and they were like, it was that, it was for whatever reason, their own moment, having heard it, but rejecting it. And then somehow having their own moment where the eclipse season woke them up to it, and
light switched on, and they're just like, "Yep."
And it's on their timetable, and now it's clicking and it's making sense, and they're going on. And I don't know them, they're just somebody who DM'd.
Right.
So it's
good. That's how it happens.
Yeah.
Did they say their signs Pisces? Were they some Pisces?
No, the eclipses happened during Pisces season. They didn't tell me what their sign was. No, but they were saying that their experience of the eclipses this year was clearly that those eclipses were taking place during Pisces season. And when they reconciled that with the fact that it could have been Aries season if you were in the other for the last,
when they realized.
I think having the apps
that helps.
Really helpful.
Yeah.
I think because people are outside and they're seeing the stars and they're seeing the sky, and they have these apps that can show them the constellation, they can see all the planets, and if they are into astrology at all, they can see the discrepancy.
Yeah.
And then you have to think, if people were reading the signs in the sky, wouldn't they have been using the real sky? Yes. And do books not change over time, no, they don't change. And so if you're believing a book that can't change and can't move like the earth can move and the sky can move,
moves,
then, you're believing what this book says because it's in the book.
Right.
But the real book is in the sky.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you have to read the sky. And you have to read, the stuff that happens to you in your life and in real time.
And what's amazing is all of this really important work around the eras can't even exist in that construct, like in any kind of accuracy. Like you have to be referencing the real
We
sky.
have 2 Amy's now.
Oh, we have two. Hi.
Oh, I have 2.
There she is.
One went away.
What a day of
That's too
technology.
funny.
What were you saying? What were you all talking
Well, I
about?
was just saying it's amazing to me that the real sky, like when you think of the magnitude of how important this work is of the eras, you don't have any accuracy in any way, shape, or form to actual timeline if you try to apply this to Western tropical. If you don't apply it to the real sky, there's zero accuracy. Like it emits Ophiuchus and the timelines are going to be, everything's going to be equal 30 degrees. So every astrological era would be exactly the same length because they'd all be 30 degrees.
Well, then they'd all have to be Piscean age because doesn't leave the
Well, right, because they
never leaves equinox.
That's right, because no matter what on the spring equinox, no matter what area you're in, they're gonna say that it's the start of Aries, which it's not. But like, yeah, so you're right. You don't even get astrological eras. You stay frozen forevermore in Aries. You don't even get and you think about how important this work is and how much there is to excavate from it. And we're like completely not even able to have that. This thing that blows my mind. Like how would we toss this all out just for the sake of perfect 30 degree symbology that lasts forever, fixed forevermore, that it doesn't make sense. But
it's not living. If it's not moving, it's not living.
It's not living. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
You're not living life fully.
No.
Or at all. Yeah. There's one thing, because going to the tarot very briefly, there are a few people on YouTube that are doing the Deccan walk. Okay, and so we have an issue. I don't, but there's an issue because we have dates associated with those signs and where they're placed within the minor arcana.
Yeah.
And Patrick, you mentioned a deck that I got recently, the Tabula Mundi.
No, yeah.
What I like about this deck, this is the deck that I can do the decans with because there's no dates on it. She only makes reference to the first decan, middle decan, and last decan. There's no dates that say the first decan is
Aries 1, 2, or 3.
Correct.
Yeah.
But no physical dates. There's no dates like Aries. What is it? April 20th to the 18th or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's why when I got the book, Julie, I was hung up on the dates, and I still am because we're all associated with dates. This is the only deck that I've seen where with a guidebook associated, there's no dates. Yeah. So you can use this deck to do the Deccan walk, and you can associate it with Sidereal because there's no dates.
Yeah.
So with Aries, I can already start with it.
That's
and
great.
Just work with the first Deccan.
Sure.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, and then once we get to the middle part of that sign, then I could go to the second Deccan, so on and so forth.
I really think the Deccans, it's a we're so at the
beginning
reweaving of the astrology that the Deccans are so far away, but the Deccans have such been a casualty of being the Deccans were their own 36 wheel. They were their own 36 wheel, and it's amazing because each each part of a season has a start, a middle, and an end. And so you get your 36 there. If you say decan, you know, season 1 has a start, and in that smart start, you can divide the start out into 3. And so, and the Egyptians had it was their calendar, it was their annual calendar, their 36-week calendar.
Yeah, the 10-day weeks.
Yeah.
Those were the 10-day weeks.
Wow.
And somehow it became the zodiac. It was condensed into the zodiac.
Well, when the Greeks came in, they had the zodiac. And
the zodiac was already a condensing of the constellations. So you basically took the purity of the constellations and broke it into zodiac. And then you took the purity of the decans and you broke that and you placed that within a broken zodiac.
Well, they were merged.
Yeah.
But wasn't the original, I shouldn't say original, but wasn't astrology founded on sidereal, and then it got westernized, if you will, and it got it got shortened.
Yeah.
Yes. But
Yeah.
the
So
decans,
like,
I think the decans were just the stars that would come up. They were just 36. What is it? 36
The
stars?
0 to 10, 10 to
They were
20,
just
20.
stars.
Yeah. What we know is we don't know all the stars, but we know it started with the flooding of the Nile with the star of Sirius rising. So when Sirius rises on the eastern horizon line, which that date will shift, but that starts that 5 days. The first 5 days are the days of the Egyptian gods, each god being worshipped, and then you start another star that would rise, and it would be 10 days of that star, and then 10 days of another star, and it was a 36 week, a 36 10-day week, followed by 5 New Year's days in a row that would make up for that 365 day calendar.
And what's interesting is that Sirius has got a 365 day orbit,
right?
And that's why it was more accurate than anything.
It's actually more accurate than the sun, which is bizarre, but it is actually more. Yeah. What's interesting though about Sirius is you can see the constellations. with Sirius's 365-day journey, you can actually see the stars. With the suns, you can't.
Such an important star. It was such an important star, and it's the biggest, the most light.
But I think that the decans as they are now, and like how you see the decans layered into tarot, while they get sort of, for lack of a better word, sort of like kind of like convolutedly renamed as Aries 1, Aries 2, Aries 3, that I think what the decans are really describing is the breakdown of the seasons. It's literally like, you have a start, a middle, and an end of each season. And if you look at it that way, a season literally does have essentially 30, 60, 90 days a season. So if you have the start has 30 days, so decan 1, decan 2, decan 3, that is the totality of the start of a season. And then you have decan 2 of Aries, which is the middle of a season. But it really is
the cardinal signs that start the seasons. That's one way that you can do the decans, and then the fixed would be the middle of the seasons, 2, 3, and 4.
Are the mutable signs now the fixed signs and the fixed?
Well, no, because they don't have to shift because it's still based on the equinoxes. So the middle of the season is still whatever the middle is still fixed, and the mutable is still the end of the season. It's still the equinox and solstice dates didn't shift, so those stay. If you set the decans to the solstices and the equinoxes, those modalities should stay the same. But
the seasons aren't changing.
No. But the problem is we don't call them, we don't approach it in a seasonal way. We justify it as working because it's seasonal. But every bit of our language about this is, well, it's the start of spring because the sun is in Aries and it's Aries decan number 1. Like every bit of the language is wrong.
But I agree that it's spring. I agree that it is spring.
It is definitely spring for half of us on this planet.
Yes. Just for half of us.
Just for half of us, you know. That's where I'm actually always kind of blown away. It's taken this long for it to sink into me or anybody that's very nature centric, because nature centric, we wouldn't be able to say, like, it's so not inclusive of the entire planet.
It is so not inclusive.
It's so literally elitist in that way. these
Eurocentric.
It is. It's so wild, you know, and the fact that we just sort of like ignore that.
Yeah. And even the people like in Australia, and they go, well, we expect that.
Yeah, they do.
And they celebrate Halloween when we celebrate it.
They're like, we're second. They're like left-handed. They suffer from left-handed syndrome. You know, we're the lefties. You know.
Yeah.
It's wild. Yeah.
They enjoy celebrating with us, I think.
Even if it's out of sync with the seasons.
Yeah. They're like, okay, we'll go with it.
I know.
This has to be a part 2 and a part 3 and a part 4.
And you froze.
You're frozen again, Amy. Nope, she's moving.
Okay, you're back.
There she is.
She's moving.
She's shaking up the interweb.
This is a continuation. You know?
I apologize for being so late today, you guys. I seriously thought we were at 5 again, like we always are, and should have read the fine print with my glasses on.
Glad you're okay.
You replied to the email saying, yes, I saw the date and the change. So that's why I was like, that's odd. Where is she?
I know.
I was like, I hope she's not underneath, 13 books of astrological eras. Like, they didn't follow.
No, I was finished. I finished at 10 o'clock this morning. I wrote my last meaning at 10 o'clock this morning.
Congratulations.
And
you're elated.
And I started going through the pictures again, because sometimes my black borders I can see black, but if I turn up the brightness, I can see they're blotchy. So I have to go in and redo some things. And there was some issues with not being able to read the fine print in some places. And so I've been going back in to clean some things up.
Nice.
And that's where I was when Peter was like, how come you're not on? Like, what? It's not 5.
Peter.
Too funny.
Oh, gosh. Good thing my husband's in the garden, or I would have been lost.
And where was your phone?
My phone was sitting right next to me, but I don't know with the sound.
You must have had it on.
Or what. The sound was not on.
I messaged you. Patrick messaged you. Called.
I know.
We're like, Julie.
I'm way back and far away.
You gave me an opportunity not to mess up.
She's eyeball deep in the era of Leo.
She's lost in the ice age. Someone go find her. Send Susan Toughnut out to find her.
There she is. She's in a little boat. In the age of, I don't know, whatever, right?
Stuck in the Duat.
Retrograde. Yeah, she's stuck in the Duat. Yep. That's where she is.
I'm glad
they tossed her out like Ophiuchus
already. And the thing is, I had the StreamYard ready. I had the StreamYard on. I had this up. I was really, all I would have had to do was like look at the time and go in, and
I'm like, where's Julie?
Well, Patrick and Robin told you that they were hosting it for me for the first few minutes, right?
Yeah.
That was the start.
I think we killed it, Robin.
We did our debut. Yes, we did. Didn't we, Patrick? I think.
Yeah, you can rely on us, water and fire, to mix.
Yep. Yep. We'll hold it down.
So right now, Patrick, how is your book?
Oh gosh, I've had to pause. I had a really rough eclipse season. So I just basically, I'm signing on to Instagram once every other day, and I am writing when I feel inspired. It is coming and I'm happy with what's doing, but I definitely needed an unplug moment. Yeah. I don't know. And so coming along, but I finally just accepted it's not going to go as fast as I want it to go.
But just let it write itself.
Yeah. Yeah.
It will.
But at some point, here's here's the Taurus kind of pushing you a little
Yeah.
bit. Set like a end date, because you don't want to be laxed with it. And then 10 years later, it's like, oh my God, I forgot about that.
I'm hoping that it will be like something that I could do, you know, have be at least finished and ready to go for the beginning of like Q1 of 2025. But realistically, I know that for the next 6 months, it's going to be pretty much everything goes on pause, because Jolene and I are reopening our seasonal gift shop and art gallery, and we just work it ourselves. And it's 7 days a week and it's full days. So we don't get a day off. Once we open in May, first weekend of May, we don't have days off again until Halloween. Halloween is our first day off. So really, realistically, I know that real writing, I'll be writing when I can, but I don't see it happening until after that.
Watch you get downloads while you're working.
I mean, and I have been recording on my phone.
That's what you should do.
Yeah, I've been recording like stuff on my phone and then like letting it dictate itself into a note, and I have been doing that. So,
good.
Yeah, that's the best way to go.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's just the nature. We truly live a seasonal lifestyle. So we've gone from 6 months off to about now 6 months on. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So good. So 2025 midpoint. Hopefully.
Yeah, I'd like to do something. It'd be fun to do something around the equinox, you know?
Oh yeah.
That would be
done.
I like numbers and timing, so that would be kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah. But again, let it flow, but still have a date.
Yeah.
Robin, what are you up to?
I'm always up to something. Okay, so I'm doing my readings. I'm normally what I usually do. But I had an idea, because I did the board for real estate and all that.
Have you seen her board?
What are you talking about?
She doesn't know. I have it here. You don't know about this, Amy?
No, I don't.
This, if you look on.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I created this during the pandemic, I think, wasn't it, Julie?
Yeah.
Oh my God!
It's a board, and we use markers. We use markers for every planet, and every day I would put where everything is, put the aspects, and use Julie's cards. That's just one of my things that I do. So I'm always inventing stuff, by the way. That's what but we have these little, I don't know if you can see them, they're the markers.
I can't see.
I can't even put it on the board so you could see it. Anyway.
Oh, they're like pegs?
Well,
they're little charms.
Yeah, they're little charms.
They're little planet charms.
Okay, that's the sun.
Raise it up a little bit.
Raise it up, just here. There
it is.
Yeah, they're like little charms.
Okay. And you place
they
it
go all around it. Everything's on here. Even Ophiuchus is on here.
Okay.
So yeah, I created this to help me to really understand it more and all that. Julie has it on her website.
Yeah.
So one day, because I work, I do a lot of energy work too, like in my readings. So I also recommend different things, crystals. I'm really big in that. That's why I got sick, I think, because I was too many crystals going on. So one day I'm sitting there, and not that I don't have a lot of boards going on. I wanted another board. I wanted a chakra board. And of course, I wanted an Egyptian chakra board. So I got one made. I use this, and I love it. And it has, you can't tell because this board is really, it's darker.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Oh, nice.
And all the deities.
There you go.
So,
cool.
That is for the root chakra.
That's really cool.
7.
Had Haru. Yeah. We got Ra. Aset. She even put the hieroglyphics in there for me. I didn't think anything.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Isn't it nice?
Yeah.
Really nice. Yeah.
And I use this in my readings too, to figure out what energy maybe needs to be called in, or what they need to work with, and it helps me out. So that's one thing.
Wow, that's really cool.
Nice.
Divining.
I'm gonna book one though soon.
She makes tools.
I do. I make tools.
Love this.
What else are you going to make?
I don't know. I'm supposed to have, Julie, I didn't forget, my planner. I have a planner coming. It's coming.
Like
it's coming. Yeah, like a guide.
She uses.
But I want everything related in the planner too. Like I'm
Okay.
going to relate the crystals to the planets and all that going on.
Cool.
It's pretty deep, pretty intense. They won't leave me alone about it. I have to do it.
You have to finish.
I have to do it. I had a whole thing mapped out. It's Amber had it on her channel, and I showed them my planner that I was working with. So I wanted to do one specifically for the real sky, and it's coming. It's coming. It's in my head. It's coming.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Mhm.
And we know, Julie, what you're doing.
Yeah, I have pictures, but I think I have a show or a big conference in May, and I think I'm going to be able to have at least 3 things at my booth. I think I'll be able to get the 3 books that have been edited, uploaded, and shipped before then, and I think I can get the 3 decks uploaded and shipped before then.
Oh my goodness.
It's going to be so exciting to get some real-time feedback. You know?
Yeah. So 3, I'll get 3 of them done for sure, and then it's just, you know, the rest.
When is this? When is it?
The middle of May. It's May 17th to the 18th, something like that.
Where is it? Plug it in
Minneapolis it's the North Star Tarot Conference.
Oh, that's so exciting, Julie. I'm
Yeah,
so
so
Just in time for tourist season.
I'll be vending there, and
Are you gonna video? I want to see.
I don't know.
FaceTime. I want to see it. That's so
Yeah,
exciting.
I could probably hop
I
on.
love that you're going to have physical goods.
I should have
on
them.
display
Yeah.
at the start of Taurus season. Just saying.
Yeah.
Oh my
So
gosh, Julie.
I'm mostly worried about the cards not getting in here in time because the templates for the boxes for the cards are sometimes not perfect. And then I end up having to do it over and over and over again because Evan, who is in charge of the printing, is very, very precise. And he'll say, this is not lined up perfectly, and I'll have to do it over. So I'm hoping I can get that because I have all the boxes made with the template, but I don't know how accurate the template is. And I won't find out until I upload it. And then I'll have to make tweaks to it. But that's fun work. I don't mind that.
You guys, I just realized that I have somebody calling in 4 minutes that I've got to be able to take that call. So I didn't realize it was so late. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
We had issues. So.
See, now it's 5 o'clock. I would have just been coming on now.
It's almost 6, and I was like, "Yep, call me at 6 o'clock. I'll be done by then for sure."
You're behind.
But I thank you so much, as always, Amy, for this.
Yeah, this is nice, Amy. Next time I'll pay more attention to what time we're going to be here. I'll never make that mistake again.
We'll be in sync.
And
Patrick,
keep chatting.
it's your turn next
I'll
time
catch
it's
up with
your
you.
turn. Something's gonna happen with Patrick. No, I hate it.
Oh gosh. You just wait. I'm gonna surprise you, and I'm coming back with the book done, ready to go. It's gonna be
Aries.
Well,
no, it's not. It absolutely will not be. Bye, you guys.
Bye, Patrick.
Bye.
Well, I think we'll end it here.
Okay.
But hang on so we can catch up a little bit.
Yes.
So again, I want to thank Patrick, Robin, Julie for coming in. We'll make this a part 2 because there's not so much that we started late, but there's just so much information.
There is a lot.
We'll get some graphics up.
Yeah, we'll sort this out somehow. There should be I've had issues with StreamYard, and they say for me to use Firefox, and it's like, why should I use another? Anyhow, that'll be off topic. So we'll figure this out so we can have a nice, space so that we could show and share what we have so that people can see what we're speaking about.
Yeah.
And then we have a visual. We can get more questions and more feedback that way. So I have all the information down below to reach everyone. Robin, you're doing readings at a shop, right? Do you do online readings?
I do readings from home. I have 2 or 3 shops. There's another shop that wants me to come.
Okay.
I do readings at. I have clients. They can get in touch with me. I have a website and all that. So Yeah, and I do real sky, and I do regular, tarot readings, oracle readings, everything.
Okay, excellent. And Julie, of course, you have your website with all the information. Will you be doing an update on the website, just letting people know that this is what's happening? Or at this point, you'll just say the deck and the book's here, and that's what I have for you.
I'll do an update.
Okay.
I have coming soon, like what's new coming soon.
Yeah. Okay.
But when they're hot links, I'll put them up immediately.
Okay, sounds good. And Patrick has his website with the deck. And him working on a book, hopefully by next year. He'll probably update about that sometime next year, but we won't pressure him. It'll come when it'll come. And me, I don't know. I have things I'm doing, and I'm in the vein of Patrick. I'm just doing things when I feel best to do. I will record a video of something that I am working on right now, but other than that, I do readings online. I do readings at a shop here in Southern Oregon. That's what I'm up to. So everyone who's watching the replay of this, thank you. I'm sorry for all the technical glitches. We'll see what's going to happen next time. Maybe I will try Firefox and see what's going on. But please support everyone that you saw here on the channel. Robin, go and visit her site. Same with Julie. Invest in her projects. Read what she's about. And the same with Patrick. I have all the links in the description. We will be back again. Date to be determined. And topic, probably astrological astrology or astrological ages. And we'll see where things will take us. We'll leave it open here for now. Thank you, everyone, for being here. We will see you all again soon. Hang tight, everyone.